Hello, my name is Ashley and welcome to my first knitting podcast as one stitch after another. I'm not going to talk just about knitting here. I don't think there might be other yarn fibre-y things going on as well. But who am I? Well, as I said, my name is Ashley. I'm a lady of a certain age and I've been knitting for a very long time. Who taught you to knit? I first started when I was about 7, I think, and my grandmother, my mother's mother, taught me to knit, and I wasn't very good at it. I do remember the knitting needles. They were metal, pale pink, probably 4mm. What would that be in old money? Number 9, number 8? I'm not sure, but they didn't have the millimetre system in those days. And yes, I wasn't very good. I was very tight at knitting and I kind of gave up. And then when I was in my teens, I used to buy Jackie magazine, and in the 1980s, giving you a clue as to how old I am, in the 1980s they used to publish a knitting pattern, and that's what kind of got me back into knitting. And at that time my parents were living with my father's parents. We lived in a big house together, and my grandma was a keen knitter, and she taught me to knit again, and I had fun knitting things in Jackie magazine. I do remember a purchase of some Sirdar yarn in pale pastel colours and knitting some fingerless gloves for all of my friends for one Christmas, which was probably quite a ambitious beginner's project. And they also had crazy things like knitting a plate of bacon and eggs. Anyway, I continued to knit through my teens and early 20s, and I went to university in London, and in my third year, I believe it was, yes, I got a Saturday job in Covent Garden at a yarn shop owned by a designer called Patricia Roberts, and she produced very, very complicated patterns, both in terms of texture and in colour. And I had knitted one of her patterns, Scrabble, which is in fine cotton, and it's a textured knit, knit in separate pieces and seamed. I think in those days, I don't really know whether knitting in the round and that kind of thing was a thing then. Certainly not in the UK. Anyway, you had to prove that you could knit one of her patterns to get a job there, because lots of people came in with queries about her complicated but very beautiful patterns. And I worked for her through my third year of my degree, and I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated, so I ended up working for her for a few months, and I worked at her head office in West Kensington. Gosh, it's a long time ago. And my title was Assistant Stock Controller. And as well as selling her own line of yarn and knitting patterns, she sold ready-made garments, ready knitted garments to Americans mainly, and people from Hong Kong, visitors, tourists that came to London that didn't have to pay VAT, because I think even back in the kind of mid 1980s, her finished sweaters were like £500, £600, £700 even back then. And one of the things that I do remember is the outworkers. Every time they finished a garment, they had to send back every single little scrap of yarn that they had left over, because there were things like cashmere and angora. And I'm going off on a tangent here, I am sorry. It's not very good for my first podcast, is it? But I hope you find it interesting. We were able as employees to buy these scraps by the weight, and I remember buying a load of angora scraps by the weight. Oh, in the most beautiful, beautiful colours. Anyway, I worked for her for a few months before I went into retail for a little while, before eventually becoming a school teacher. Other things then took precedence. I became very addicted to cross stitch, which I still enjoy doing, but my eyesight is not so good as it was when I was younger, and I do struggle to see, because I like I like doing fine things, like 32 count, that kind of thing. So that took a back seat. Anyway, I gave knitting a rest for a while, and took it up again when I became pregnant with my first child, and did some baby things. Then I went on to have another 2 children, and life just got in the way, really. And again, knitting took a back seat. And I'm not quite sure what it was that got me back into knitting. I joined a local yarn group, which was called Stitch and Bitch. And at one point we were quite big. We met in a local yarn store, and then the lady had to sell it. And we found a hotel that let us meet there for free. And we bought food and drinks, and we met there for a long time until the pandemic. And now we're just a very, very small group who do still meet in a local bar every Wednesday. And yeah, so I have been knitting consistently for the last probably 20 years, consistently. And my style has changed, what I like to knit has changed, the yarns that I like to use have changed. I like knitting small things, and I like knitting very, very fine things. So what I've been knitting recently are these little bunny nuggets, and I can't remember the name of the designer. I'll try and link her in the notes down below. But yeah, these are little bunny nuggets, and you can knit them with any yarn, any colour, any size needle, any gauge. And I use some pom-pom yarn for their little tails. I sew a little tail on the back, and I could try and shape the ears so that they're kind of a bit whimsical. And I put a little jingle bell inside so that they speak to you. And a bigger one, I think that was DK. I don't very often use DK yarn, but that was left over from something. Yeah, so those are those. I did knit last year. Norman the gnome, she was, is it Imagined Landscape? She was a mystery knit along last summer, and I was late to the party. And this one, she's a bit wonky, holding her ice cream cone. And I think this yarn was from Stash, from Deep Stash, purchased at a yarn story in Bath. I haven't said where I live, or have I? I live about 35 miles from Birmingham. So if you're international, Birmingham is the UK's second largest city, and I live about 35 miles from it, near another city called Coventry. And yeah, I bought this on a trip to Bath, a yarn story. It's a lovely shop, and I believe that all of this is hedgehog fibres, and they were mini skeins, and this is just yarn from Stash. I couldn't tell you what it was, but I love really, really fine knitting. And then this was another one that I did. I overstuffed her. She's a bit, you won't believe it, she's exactly the same number of stitches, same pattern, but she's much bigger. And this yarn, I think, was Nora George Yarns, and Norman worked in an ice cream factory. And I have signed up to do this year's Mystery Knit Along, but I haven't started it. I'm way behind. It's all finished. But yes, so that is that. Now, in terms of finished objects, I don't have a lot to show you. I just have one finished object. I am trying to knit my way through my stash. And one of my projects for this summer, and I'm way behind, was to be auditing my yarn. And I'm very lucky that I have a newly refurbished craft room. I'm a serial crafter. I'll tell you a bit about that in a minute. But one of the things, as I've been bringing stuff back into the room, is sorting through yarn. And as I say, things change over the years, don't they? And what you like to knit changes, what you like to knit with changes. And, you know, at one point in my life, I was just acquisitioning yarn. I've got to have yarn, I've got to have yarn. And I used to go to all the yarn shows, you know, Ali Pally and all that. And I just buy with, you know, with not knowing what I was going to do with it. And I have far, far, far too much that I, you know, more than I could ever knit. So I currently work in a secondary school. And I've been sorting out yarn that I'm going to try and sell, and yarn scraps that I'm going to donate to the art department. But I'm trying to knit through stash, and this is my finished object. I will just show you the picture. So this is the Mustard Flower Tee by Hook Mountain Handmade. I found this on Ravelry. I can't remember how much I paid for the pattern, and I didn't use the yarn that was stated because obviously I'm working from stash. And this was a bottom up in the round till the sleeves, and then you separate for the shoulders, and you work the V separately. Now this yarn, I couldn't tell you how old it is. I bought it on sale. It's discontinued now, I think. I had 5 skeins of this rather luscious purple colour. It's by Debbie Bliss, 100% pure silk. And it does feel really nice, but I don't like how it's knitted up. And it is quite, you know, I'm an experienced knitter and I just don't like the way the stitches lie. This has not been blocked yet, I hasten to add. I do need to block it, and I'm not very good at blocking. If anybody has got, and if anybody's watching, there might only be one of you watching. If anybody's got any hints and tips on blocking, I'd be really grateful. I do have a blocking mat that I invested in last year, but yeah, I need to aggressively block it. It's fine round the bust, but for my liking, it is too short. You know, I'm a woman of a certain age. You don't want to be showing things that you don't want to be showing. So she's showing a bra strap. It's been a lovely day today here in the Midlands in the UK. So I've been very hot, so hence bearing quite a bit of flesh. But that is my finished object. Now, whips. Yes. So I am in the process of going through things that need finishing, and as it is still summer, kind of mid-August, I have found something that I started a very, very long time ago. And again, this is a pattern off Ravelry. Let's see if I can find the front. It's Bowlen. And again, I'm not using the yarn that the pattern calls for. This is designed by Layla Raab for Quince & Co. And it's, as you can see, it's knit sideways, which is quite interesting. It's got a lace pattern at the top. I think that I have finished one piece, but it's because it's been so long since I picked it up. I need to have a really good sit down and think about A, what size I was doing. I have got a notebook in there, and B, what it is that I've actually already knitted. Let me show you the yarn. Now, I know exactly when I bought this yarn. I went to Venice in 2013, and the reason I know it was 2013 was it was the year that I finished treatment for breast cancer. I was diagnosed in 2012, and I took my husband for his 50th birthday. We went in February, half term, and I had done a little bit of research and found yarn shops that I wanted to go to, and this was a purchase from there. So it's cotton. It's like very, very fine, and it's got these little sequins, and I just thought this with white linen trousers in the summer, or black linen trousers in the summer, would be really, really nice. It's Sacia yarn, Flora Paillette, and I don't know how many metres there are. It is 95% cotton, 5% polyester. That'll be the thread that they use to string the sequins on with, I think. And a 25-gram ball is 105 metres. I don't even know whether you can get this anymore, but I've done one piece, and look, here is I've got some stitches left. So this is kind of like the top. So it goes like that, I think. But yes, it's going to be lovely when it's finished. Probably not the nicest to wear next to the skin with the sequins, but the cotton itself is really nice. So that, I think, is something that I'm going to continue with quite soon. And then an ongoing project is in this bag. And oh, I can't even show you it all. Right, hold on a minute. Let me just make sure I'm not going to drop any stitches. There we go. Right. This is going to be a carrying on in the autumn knit. This is my northeasterly blanket. And I am going the whole hog, and I am knitting 90 inches by 90 inches. Now each column is approximately 3 inches wide when blocked. So I need to do 30 columns, and each column is going to be 90 inches long. The yarn that I'm using for this predominantly is a yarn advent I bought in 2021, I want to say. Yes, that was the very, very first yarn advent I ever bought. And it was from Elderflower Stitches, who I'll link down below. The lovely Susie. There's the odd little bit that isn't Elderflower Stitches, and I'm doing it in fingering or 4-ply, and very much pastel colours. Yes, little pops of bright, but this is getting really heavy, so this is going to be a winter knit. But I absolutely love this pattern, and you kind of join as you go. I love the finish of that. And Susie's yarn from Elderflower Stitches, she dyes it herself, is absolutely beautiful. So that is another whip. What else can I show you? Recent acquisitions. Now, I have been a bit naughty, and I have got a parcel to open. But before I do, I'm just going to show you. In this box here, I've got some mini skeins, and here are some of Susie's mini skeins. She does a sock club every year. I think she's on hold at the moment because of dyeing for yarn advents. I haven't gone for one of hers this year. I've gone for Sherry Iris again. I'll link Sherry Iris down below. Love her yarn. I haven't actually ever knitted with it. I'm just hoarding it. I've got a Christmas Eve box up there, and 2021 yarn advent, and the 2022 is that further down. But I recently bought these from Yarnworks. These are Emma's perfectly practical sock, is it, minis? These were on offer a while ago. I've taken some of the skeins out because I've identified them for other projects, and this was on the vine. Yeah, so they were that. So that's a recent acquisition. And then this. Oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. I saw Hella of Danish Musings. I will link her down below. She hauled this a while ago. It's La Bien Aimée, and it's hand dyed in Paris. It is cashmerino, 75% merino, 15% cashmere, 10% nylon, and this colour is fluoro morganite. Now, I did go rather mad and buy 4 skeins of this so that I can knit something really special, or it gives me options. So I'm thinking of perhaps pairing this with a pale grey to do some colour work. I'm not very good at colour work. I only started last year with stranded colour work. I'm okay at intarsia and stripes, obviously. But oh, I just love that. And I saw Danish Musings haul this, and I thought, I've got to have it in my life. I've got to have it in my life. And I've just thought, oh, it's all right. I can just about reach it. Bear with. I'll bring you with me. Show you. Oh, you don't want to see up my nose, do you? And then I'm going to show you that in a minute, because that's going to come in with aspirational knits, or things that I want to knit in the future. My hair looks a mess, doesn't it? So yes, let's get to opening this big parcel. So apologies for any rustling. Now, I have had this for the longest time and haven't opened it because I've wanted to do a knitting podcast. And I said I was going to tell you something about my craftiness. I do actually have another YouTube channel called Paper and Twine, which I'll link down below as well. But I wanted to do something that was just purely yarn and fibre based, because I get up to all sorts on there. And yeah, and I haven't opened it because I really wanted to show it on my first dedicated knitting podcast. Now, back in July, the weekend, I think of the 8th and 9th of July, John Arbon Textiles, who this lovely package is from, hosted a virtual open weekend at their mill. So their mill is in Devon, which is quite a long way for a lot of us. And they hosted this virtual weekend, which was amazing. And they had all kinds of workshops that you could attend that were free. They were all on Zoom. And I'd never ever bought any of their yarn. So I thought, I've got to. So it's so long since I ordered this. I can't remember what's in here. But, oh, right. Oh my word. So, oh gosh. Oh, that is amazing. Yes, so this is from Katie Green, the Green Bean podcast. This is her project bag that I ordered. And she designed this specially as a limited edition for the weekend. Oh, this is going to be perfect for my knit that I want to cast on. So this is knit by numbers 4-ply. I've got some of. And there's, oh gosh, there's all sorts. Down on the allotment. Right, let's move you out of the way. Oh, it is a yarn chaos down here. Right. This is so exciting. Oh. So this is knit by numbers 4-ply, pure Falklands merino wool. Now I think they are changing their yarn base. Look at that colour. I just ordered whatever. This is so soft. So I think because they want to be more sustainable, they're going to a 50% blue faced Leicester and 50% something else. This is, oh, that is to die for. So this was on sale. There's a lot of yardage on here. What does it say? 400 metres, but it feels like there should be more. So those colours are quite nice together, aren't they? So there's that. And then this is a special that they had for the weekend, and it is down the allotment, and it is DK weight. Look at all the heathering on that. I don't know what I'm going to do with these because I don't often knit with DK, but look at the lusciousness of that and that. So let me tell you the colours. move you a bit that way. So when I film, normally I film on my phone, but I don't know why I'm filming on my iPad for a change. So this is Friendly Robin. Look at the marling in that. Absolutely beautiful. This one is Borlotti Bean. Now, I'm not a bean fan, but I do like that. So I'll have to have a look and see what people are doing with these. This one is Potato Patch. And I think this is on their new base. Let's have a look. This is 65% merino and 35% Jacob. And on this 50 gram skein, there is 112 metres. This one is Scotch Bonnet. This one is Purple Sprouting. So you can see why it's called Down the Allotment, can't you? Or is it Down the Allotment? Yes. This one, oh, I like this one. This one is Cavallonero. Thinking maybe hats with this, I don't know. Oh, I like that colour. This one's Garden Shed. This one is Bird Bath. And this one, oh, I like that as well, Tea and Biscuits. I hope you've all got some tea, because I have been quite some time. Oh, there's more in here. So we have Herb Garden. Oh, I've got 2 herb gardens. Maybe that's a mistake. And then, oh, I've got another project bag. Are they the same? Yes, they are. So I've got 2 project bags. I only ordered 1. That's lovely, isn't it? I do love Katie Green's artwork. I bought some washi tape off her Etsy shop. Not her Etsy shop, she's got her own website. But there is more in here, I think. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What is this? It's so long since I ordered, I can't remember, but what is it? What is it? Oh, bless. I didn't order this. Maybe they've given it to me because I spent some money. I don't know. I've got the annual issue 1. That will be really nice to sit and read. Oh, look. I've just seen a picture of some gorgeous sheep. Look at that. Oh, I love sheep. Absolutely love sheep. And I've got the annual issue 2. I guess these are kind of out of date because I think the new one's coming out. And there's patterns in here. Oh, and look, you can see all their yarn bases there. I think if I ever go to Devon on holiday, they're near Exeter, I shall go and maybe. Dear Ashley, many thanks for your order. Please find it enclosed along with an extra sheepy project bag. Oh, so happy about that. We hope you enjoy. Kind regards. I can't see what it says. Annette? I don't know. But that's lovely, isn't it? And then I ordered these sheepy stickers. I ordered 2 sets because I just love stickers. And who doesn't love Katie Green's Green Bean podcast? Lovely little drawings. And then there's something else. I don't know what this is. It's heavy. It's a big book. Did I order this? Just make sure there's nothing else in there. Oh, dearie me. Oh, there's bits of fluff just come out all over my new carpet. Oh, yes, I do remember buying this. Moosh and Friends. Seamless Toys to Knit and Love. And I'm thinking I definitely want to make the sheep. And one of the workshops that I did on the virtual weekend was with Cynthia Vallée, who is French. And yeah, she talked about how she designs her creatures. The other one I did was colour theory. The other one was a knit and natter. And then the final one was abstract embroidery, which was really, really interesting. And all free. So yeah, if you don't know about John Arbon Textiles, look out for that next year. Look, there's Moosh the bear. Lovely. Oh, I'm so excited. I am so excited. I'm going to take this to my knitting group tonight, I think. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is what I'm going to be knitting next. Gosh, and I've been on ages, I am sorry. I hope you've got yourself a drink. I'm drinking the Aldi knockoff San Pellegrino lemonade, which is not bad actually. I have this little remnant of Isaiah, and I can't remember what yarn it actually is, but I am going to be making on 2mm needles a tiny bear, and it's a commission that somebody wants me to make for them, and when I have finished it, I will come back and show you. I was going to tell you, you wouldn't believe I've done this before on another channel, would you? I was going to tell you a little bit more about myself. So yeah, I'm a serial crafter, cross stitch, jewellery making, tapestry, and more recently, if you can see behind me, just about maybe paper crafting. And in 2021, I was one of the winners of Card Maker of the Year, and I'm now on the design team for some of the magazines that you see in supermarkets, like Creative Stamping, Simply Cards, and Papercraft Essentials. So from time to time I get commissions to make projects for those. I make cards predominantly, but I do all kinds of mixed media projects. Yeah, so yes, that's that. Now, my project that I really want to cast on is this. I absolutely love on Ravelry all of the Japanese designers. Oh, I just love their boxy shape, and this is going to be my next project, my next cast on, other than that little bear. And it calls for Biche Bouche lambswool, Le Petit lambswool, 100% lambswool, made in the UK. It's spun up in Scotland, I believe, and this is the colour that I'm going for. A bit pale for me, maybe. I really wanted to do it in that stone colour, natural colour, but I couldn't get enough quantity of it. So I've gone for this pale pink, which I think will be lovely in the winter, actually. And I believe, I've never used this yarn before, but I believe that it really softens up with wearing and washing. It says this is a pure lambswool from Scotland, from a family-owned fibre mill. A beautiful, natural and scoured quality for your dreamy knitting projects. Love, Astrid and Caroline and Louise. And this is called Very Light Pink, Rose Très Clair in French. And I'm just looking to see what the yardage is. 248 metres to a 50-gram ball. And they recommend 3mm to 3.5mm. But this is knit, this pattern's knit using 2 strands together, which is something I've never done before. So another first. And this is knit in one piece. And if you make it up really carefully, you can wear it inside out. It's reversible in that sense. Not front to back, although you probably can wear it front to back. But yeah, I just love all the detailing on it. And I am a sucker for a cable. So that's me. Please spread the word. I don't know when I'll next be back. I do more vloggy, day in the life type stuff and paper crafting tutorials on my other channel. So if you're new to me and you've never watched any of my videos before, pop along over there, and I will try to be back soon. Love it if you could help my little channel here grow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Bye now.